All right, so let's do some more simplification problems. So again, we're going to simplify. Let's do 4 to the 1.5. 4 to the 1.5. So again, I don't know what to do with these decimals, so let's just change this to a fraction. So 1.5, you should know that. 1.5, that's 1 and 5 tenths. 1 and 5 tenths, which is 1 and 1/2, which you multiply, add, you get 3 halves. So 1.5 is 3 halves. So we get 4 to the 3 halves. Again, method 1, you can put it in radical form. Method 2, we can rewrite it so the exponents simplify out. So radical form, I can rewrite this. This is the type of root, so it's the square root of 4 to the third, which is also the same thing. You could put the square root of 4 and then the third outside. It doesn't matter. So you could do square root of 4 times 4 times 4, 64, square root of 64. Or we could take the square root of 4, which is 2, cube it, so 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So either way, square root of 64 or 2 cubed gives you 8. All right, that's method 1. Method 2, I could rewrite this, 4 to the 3 halves. I wanted to rewrite 4 so it cancels out with this 2, so it simplifies. So I'm going to rewrite 4 as 2 squared. Again, I take a power to a power. Now these guys are going to work out nicely. So you just multiply 2 to the 2 over 1 times 3 over 2. The 2's just become 1. We just get 2 cubed, which is 8. Let's do some more problems with that. Let's do 32 to the negative 0.4. 32 to the negative 0.4. So again, let's take that and make it into a fraction. So negative 0.4 is equal to negative, well, 0.4, that's 4 tenths, negative 4 tenths. And I can reduce that. I can divide everything by 2, so I get negative 2 fifths. Okay, so negative 0.4 is negative 2 fifths. So let's rewrite that, 32 to the negative 2 fifths. And let's rewrite that. So first off, it's a negative exponent. Negative exponent means I'm going to send him underneath. Send him underneath, so 32 to the 2 fifths. Okay, I sent him underneath. Now I can rewrite this in radical form. So 1 over, that's the type of root, the fifth root of 32 squared. Or I could write 1 over the fifth root of 32, in parentheses, the whole thing squared. And I think you can see that this is way more annoying. I don't want to square 32 and then take the fifth root of that. This way is much easier. The fifth root of 32, that's just 2. And 2 squared is just 4. Much easier than calculating that. All right, that was method 1. Method 2, let me just kind of draw a little barrier here. Method 2, if I rewrite this, let's go over here, 32 to the negative 2 fifths. I could just work with this guy, so it's going to simplify with the 5. So let's rewrite this as 2 to the 5th. 2 to the 5th to the negative 2 fifths. And now we can see, we don't have to rewrite it, that these are going to multiply, the 5's are going to become 1, and we're left with 2 to the negative 2. So again, if negative exponent, I can send them underneath the denominator, 1 over 2 squared, which is 1/4. So either way gives me the exact same result. Now, to finish up, let's try a couple problems where we're going to write in the simplest form. Okay? Write in the simplest form. So I was on number 7. So let's take 16y to the negative 8, all to the negative 3/4. Okay, so we want to, remember when you have a product of things to a power here, this exponent's going to go to both these guys. So we're going to get 16 to the negative 3/4, and then y to the negative 8, all to the negative 3/4. Okay, so we can simplify these one at a time. I like my rewriting method, method 2, so I'm going to rewrite this to work out with the 4. So I need to rewrite 16 as something to the 4th power. Well, that's 2. 2 to the 4th power to the negative 3/4. Okay? And these guys, I can simplify. Power to power means you multiply. So let me just write that out. What's going on here? If you're confused, just write it out. Negative 8 over 1 multiplied by negative 3 over 4. Okay, negative times a negative is a positive 24 over 4. Or you could just go 8 over 4 is 2, negative 2 times negative 3, so we're going to get 6. So here, 4 over 4 is going to cross itself out. We get 2 to the negative 3. And here, again, we have times 24 over 4 is 6. Okay, and then this is going to give us, send him to the denominator. So we have 1 over 2 cubed times y to the 6th. So our numerator is y to the 6th, and our denominator is 2 cubed, which is 8. All right, whoops, off the screen there, sorry. All right, let's try one more problem here. One more problem. You can always pause that. Let's do x to the 2/3, y to the negative 1/6 to the negative 12th. Again, you have product taken to a power, just give it to both these guys. So we get x to the 2/3 to the negative 12, y to the negative 1/6 to the negative 12. Power to a power means you multiply, so we get x to the 2/3 times negative 12 over 1. And then over here we have y to the negative 1/6 times negative 12 over 1. Let's see what that is. So this is going to give me negative 24 over 3. Negative 24 over 3, so that's going to be x to the negative 8. This is going to give me negative times a negative is a positive 12. 12 over 6. 12 over 6 is just 2. Okay, so that is going to give us this, send this guy underneath, y squared over x to the 8th. Looks like we have time for one more, so let's just do one more simple one. Number 9. Let's say I have a quotient, x squared over x to the negative 11th to the 1/3. Again, same thing with quotient. You give this exponent to both. So we have x squared to the 1/3 over x to the negative 11th to the 1/3. Power to a power, we multiply. So 2 times 1/3, we get x to the 2/3 over x to the negative 11th over 3. And you can just, since it's a negative exponent down here, you can just bring him up to the numerator. So we're going to get x to the positive 11 over 3 times x to the 2/3. And now that we have these together, we can just add them because they have the same base. So 11 plus 2, we get x to the 13/3. And there we have it.